Welcome back. As the St. Lucia Workers Credit Union continues to celebrate International Credit Union Month, members and staff have taken the opportunity to observe World Poverty Eradication Day as part of their calendar of activities. On Wednesday, they took to the Derek Walcott Square in their poverty eradication exercise, where they fed and clothed the less fortunate. Shaka Wooding reports.
In a world characterized by unprecedented levels of economic development, technological means, and financial resources, the United Nations Human Rights Council describes global poverty levels as a moral outrage. October 17, 2019, marks the 27th observation of International Eradication of Poverty Day. The aim of this annual event is to call world leaders and financial institutions into action against poverty. Financial Controller of the St. Lucia Workers Credit Union, Charmaine St. Remy, says in continued observation of International Credit Union Month, the St. Lucia Workers Credit Union will continue to step up against poverty in St. Lucia. St. Remy spoke with the Hot 7 team on site of their annual Lunch for the Less Fortunate, held at the Derek Walcott Square.
We at St. Lucia Workers Credit Union, we wanted to bring to light the ethos of the credit union movement, which is people helping people. And therefore, we decided to be practical in our fight against poverty. And so it's our second year actually doing the lunch for the less fortunate. But it's 3 years since we have been reaching out to them, because our very first year, what we did was a breakfast where we went through the community of Marshall and we reached out and helped in that way. And so we've been doing this, and we believe that what we are doing, though it may be small, but it will go a long way. And we intend to keep this activity on our calendar for the years to come.
St. Remy says SLWCU has realized that there are many activities members are able to engage in to assist the less fortunate. During this year's activity, members and staff not only held a lunch, but also distributed clothing to the less fortunate.
Apart from giving just a meal to the less fortunate, what we are also doing is giving clothing. And I want to really say thank you to the members of St. Lucia Workers Credit Union, because they came in this year and they helped us in extending ourselves to with what we were doing. And so most of the clothing that we have there, both new and used, have been donated by the members of St. Lucia Workers Credit Union. And so today, as we hand a meal to the less fortunate, we will also be clothing them.
St. Remy wished to encourage other businesses to host poverty eradication activities of their own.
I would also like to encourage other organizations to reach out and to do their part in helping those who are less fortunate. Like I said last time, that poverty is not something that we wish upon anyone. It is not something that anybody goes looking for. But life happens, and sometimes we stumble upon hard times. In a split second, all that we have can be taken away. And then we find ourselves in those unfortunate circumstances. And therefore, what we're doing is not anything that is impossible for the average individual to do. And so even as tomorrow World Poverty Eradication Day will be recognized, I want to encourage persons, you still have another day, plan something, do something for the less fortunate and make their lives a little better.
She says in the near future, persons can expect year-long activities centered on poverty eradication to be hosted by the newly formed St. Lucia Workers Credit Union Youth Group. St. Remy hopes that in future more persons realize the importance of such events and choose to get involved. For Hot 7 News, I am Shaka Wooding.
The celebrations for Creole Heritage Month continue on Thursday with Fête la Marguerite. Fête la Marguerite, or the La Marguerite Flower Festival, is an annual festival celebrated every 17th of October with much pomp and flair. This festival reflects the history, traditions, and values of St. Lucians, lasting over a month long and flourishes through community spirit and involvement. The main activities for the La Marguerite Flower Festival are the community seances, the Gouan Seance, and the Gouan Fête and the school's ecumenical service. The Gua Seance signifies the beginning of the celebration of the month-long festival, and it also serves as the venue for the groups to hold an all-night singing and dancing session. The seances are the lead-up to the Grand Feast Day or Gua Fête and the school's ecumenical service. This year, the Gua Fête takes us to the community of Monrepo, where 8 participating groups will, in brilliant fashion, parade the main community streets to the Church of St. Anne, where a church service will take place from 10 a.m., after which they will make dramatic presentations, all in admiration and honor of the symbolic marguerite flower on the grounds of the Monrepo RC Combined Schools. Schools from the northern districts in St. Lucia have been invited to participate in this year's Fête La Marguerite with an ecumenical service at the Church of Our Lady of Fatima in Leclerc Castries, while schools in the southern districts are encouraged to participate in the service and celebrations in Monrepo. The Cultural Development Foundation is hopeful that the objectives of creating greater public awareness of the festival in terms of its history, purpose, and the elements that make up the festival, as well as encouraging greater private sector participation in the festival, will all be met. As young St. Lucian artists continue to spearhead change in the local music industry, Dwight Florent is commonly found at the forefront of these developments. Flora is a local guitarist who has stepped into the international market in a big way, joining 2-time Grammy Award-winning group Morgan Heritage. The Hot 7 team caught up with Flora to gain some insight on his latest experience with the group.
Son of the soil Dwight Flora has achieved what most only dream of. The 21-year-old guitarist continues to further himself in the music industry. With over 10 years of experience playing music and learning new instruments, Flora says he truly found his place when he self-taught himself to play guitar via YouTube. The young artist says he attributes most of his success to his social media presence, which has provided him with a platform to receive many opportunities. One of which was an Instagram message from Roy Gramps Morgan that would change his life forever.
It happened through my Instagram. I'm not sure if you know about my Instagram. I post a lot of videos of me just playing, just vibing out to tracks in my room, and then one day Gramps messaged me and he's like, okay, I like your sound. I like what you're doing, so start learning the material. And from there it was just next day, a flight booking one time. Everything just kind of fell in place after that, but it was through Instagram. Through Instagram, he discovered me.
Flora says this opportunity really caused him to push himself. On the international market, he not only represents himself and his craft, but also St. Lucia and its people. He was selected as a professional lead guitarist and said he did his utmost to deliver nothing less.
Well, the overall experience was just something that I could definitely say changed my life. It was definitely an eye-opener. As far as being a professional guitarist, it was definitely something for me to, step your game up and keep up to what's expected of you. Well, like I said, it was definitely something that what's expected of you, you got to meet the requirements. So if we hire you and you're a professional guitarist, then you know what you have to do. I got to be practicing. While I'm on the bus, I'm practicing. Whenever I had some free time, I'm practicing. So just to kind of make sure that I meet perfection.
He says there is no room for procrastination in the music industry and encourages young artists to broaden their horizons. Flora says he plans to further his education in the near future.
What's next for Dwight Flora? Okay, I would say that I want to go to school, because as far as I got the experience of touring the world and traveling, and I still feel like I'm still very young, so it's good to be able to have qualification underneath your belt in anything that you do. Whether it be music, art, whatever it is, it's good to be qualified in what you do. So I'm definitely looking at Atlanta Institute of Music. As far as next year, I'm looking at it. I would say that the change begins in your mind. So if you could tell yourself that, okay, I am going somewhere. If you could know where you're going and plan it out, and then sit down and literally say, okay, every day I'm doing this so that I can get closer to this goal. It's all in your mind, and eventually you will get where you want to go. So stop procrastinating and start working.
Flora will continue to tour with Morgan Heritage as the lead guitarist of the group. For Hot 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
The British High Commission is once again sending out a call to future St. Lucian leaders, influencers, and policymakers to step forward and grab hold of the opportunity to take their passions to the next level in life. The opportunity comes in the form of the Chevening Scholarship, which is open to applicants until the 5th of November 2019.
The British High Commission is reminding St. Lucians that they are still in with a chance to join the prestigious group of Chevening scholars by sending in their applications before the November 5th deadline to take part in the program. Chevening is a British government master's-funded scholarship program which aims to encourage future leaders, policymakers and influencers to earn a master's degree in the field of their choice. As part of the program, participants get to study abroad for a year in a field that they have a keen interest in, to use said field to help transform their societies or communities when they return home. Political and press officer at the British High Commission, Ayodele Hippolyte, said the idea is also to expose participants to other cultures. She went on to list the requirements needed to take part in the program.
To be eligible to apply for the scholarship, it's for a master's program, so you should have a bachelor's, a first degree. And the good thing is it can be in any area, any field. The program does not specify. Some scholarship programs do, this one does not. And it is a very good thing if you already have a track record of civic engagement, meaning you're involved in your community, you're involved in social causes, social issues, you have an interest and passion for changing your society, for addressing problems or challenges that you see. It makes your application stand out. That's what the program is looking for. It's not just about academic qualifications and being academically gifted. It's also about being socially engaged and being interested in, as I said, changing your community, your society for the better in whatever area, in whatever field. So it could be women's issues, it could be health, it could be socio-political, cultural issues. It does not matter.
Hippolyte beamed with pride as she highlighted the fact that a number of well-respected St. Lucian names are Chevening alumni. She said St. Lucians have made their mark on the program over the years.
The Chevening has been in existence for 35 years. In fact, this year is its 35th anniversary, and St. Lucia has been a part of it from the beginning, really. So we've had it since the 80s. Bernard Fannis, our well-known media personality and colleague and business person, was one of our first, if not our first. Then there's Dr. Jimmy Fletcher. We have people like Mr. Bernard Lacobiniere. We have others who are now serving in law, in politics. But most recently, the newly appointed executive director of the Folk Research Center, Ms. Louise Victor. She's an alumna of the program. And of course, you know Louise. And we have people like Alicia Ali from the media. So what you realize is that the Chevening covers a wide range of fields and areas. Of course, gender, right? And I must say St. Lucians have distinguished themselves in this program. The program has offered over 50,000 scholarships worldwide, and St. Lucia has certainly been a part of that.
Hippolyte said there is no upper age limit to the scholarship. The program requires online applications, and persons can do so at www.chevening.org. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
The National Ocean Policy seeks to present an overarching vision, policy statement, and strategic outcomes for the marine and associated sectors in St. Lucia. The draft policy has been developed over the last year and will be presented to stakeholders who have engaged in its development for validation. It is envisaged that the final policy will be endorsed by the Cabinet of Ministers in the near future. St. Lucia is set to commence the finalization of its National Ocean Policy. Marine spatial planning expert Dr. Cassandra Turkey O'Neill was one of the facilitators at a validation meeting on Tuesday, the 15th of October. This was followed by the hosting of a second consultation on preparing a coastal master plan and a marine spatial plan for the blue economy. The marine spatial plan will establish a long-term plan for St. Lucia's exclusive economic zone. This is the entire marine space that the government of St. Lucia is responsible for managing under the United Nations Law of the Sea. The Coastal Master Plan will articulate actions to be conducted within the coastal region of St. Lucia. This is the area that is found immediately around the island and where most marine-related activity currently occurs.
Today we are doing the consultation round for the Coastal Master Plans and the Marine Spatial Plans. These feed into the National Ocean Policy, which sets the framework in order for these plans to move forward. And so today what it is, we're basically trying to get from participants is what their vision is, what do they define as the coast, what do they define as the marine environment, because in the legislation for St. Lucia, it's not clear. And so we need to come away today with a consensus of what do you define as the coast, and then that would help frame for us what should be inside of your coastal master plan and the marine spatial plan.
The development of the National Ocean Policy, the Coastal Master Plan, and the Marine Spatial Plan have been initiated by the OECS Commission as part of the 4-year, that's 2017 to 2021, Regional Oceanscape Project, a global environment facility funded project endorsed by the Council of Ministers for Environmental Sustainability in 2015. St. Lucia is making strides to finalize the policy.
Well, the policies now have to be approved by the equivalent of a National Ocean Governance Council. And then they would have to be carried to Cabinet, and Cabinet would have to approve it now as part of legislation. So it's still a ways off.
The blue economy encourages the sustainable use of the ocean's resources to maintain ecosystem health, promote economic growth, and improve local livelihoods and job opportunities. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Tennyson Glasgow is coming up next. He has all the sporting action.